Kramnik has lost more than half of his personal wealth in the last 12 months.
Erik Allebest is one of the most influential people in the world of chess. Even if you've never heard of him, you've definitely heard of chess.com, which is now worth more than $1 billion with 600 employees. Erik is its co-founder and CEO.
I have been as amazed as everybody else at how big chess has gotten. I mean, we've been working at it for, almost 20 years, but I am regularly surprised at how big the game of chess has gotten and chess.com's role in that.
We've discussed the hottest topics, the Hans Niemann movie, and also the fight against cheating.
There's a lot of people think they're doing smart cheating when it's actually not that smart. I think people don't know how much we know about what...
Erik has also shared chess.com's ambitious plans, including new features and improvements.
Game Review is already partly like that, but the next versions of Game Review coming out, and a new feature where you can kind of play versus...
At the end of the episode, we've played an exciting Blitz game.
You're really serious about wanting to destroy me. Erik Allebest, what an honor, what a surprise that you wrote to me and that you're a viewer of my podcast. Hi, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for responding to me. I've listened to many of your podcasts. I appreciate your work, and I always enjoy, chatting with people in the chess community, and at least getting to share, my views on things and hearing yours as well. I'm open to that. I'd love to hear what you think about how we're doing at chess.com as well. So let's have the discussion.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Actually, some people might accuse me of being too complimentary, but I genuinely love what you guys are doing. So you will excuse me, my viewers and listeners, if I'm saying good things about chess.com. It's not because I'm a part of chess mafia or whatever people might say. So Erik, first of all, I have a funny story. I have a friend, his name is Serge Faguet. He is an entrepreneur and he went to Stanford. And he went to Stanford with you.
I know that name. Yeah.
Yeah, and he told me recently, just out of context, I know, Greg, that you are focusing on chess content these days, and I want to tell you a story. I had a classmate in Stanford who was talking about chess probably around 2005, something like this. He was talking about chess and creating some big business about chess, and I was laughing at him. I thought it's chess is some game for nerds, and no one will be able to create a big business out of this. So does it feel good right now that these people are not laughing anymore?
I mean, kind of. It's kind of just to be honest, I thought they might be right too. When we started chess.com, there was no vision that we were going to create this massive business. I think it was hey, we want to do this and we'll see where it goes. But, I think the joy of it comes a little bit from people doubting us. But I mean, sure, that's always nice to prove your doubters wrong a little bit. But really, I have been as amazed as everybody else at how big chess has gotten. I mean, we've been working at it for, almost 20 years, but I am regularly surprised at how big the game of chess has gotten and chess.com's role in that. I am also amazed. So I was probably a doubter back then too.
That's understandable. Well, nowadays I hear a different opinion. I hear an opinion that chess is criminally underrated, that it should be played by 10x more people worldwide, that it should be more popular than, for example, some video game, let's say Counter-Strike or whatever, that there should be not several popular channels like Gotham Chess or Hikaru, but there should be many more popular content creators. So this area is just at its inception, and that it should grow 10x, 20x, I don't know. So are you that optimistic about it? Because some other people say that chess has hit its plateau and we will not see any growth. like they used to be.
Yeah, everyone's just making forecasts, but I'm in the camp of thinking that we're not even close to our largest size in terms of chess.com, but also chess as a game. And I think, I will not be surprised if we have 5 or 10x as many daily active or monthly active users in the coming 10 years. Now, it's not going to be overnight. It has been overnight in the past with, COVID and PogChamps and the Queen's Gambit and, all the different things. But I think we're going to see more sustained growth. I think 2025 we'll see some growth. And I think 2026 will be a big year. There's a lot of chess coming in the media, movies and books and shows and different things. And I think we'll see a resurgence and we'll just see a continued snowball of growth. So you can count me as someone who believes there's still a lot to come for chess.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good to hear because obviously everyone in the ecosystem will benefit from that. You say 2026 will be the year. What are you referring to exactly when you say that there will be books, movies? I know that Netflix is about to, probably it already made a movie, a series. What is it about the Hans Niemann story? Is it one of the media phenomena that you are talking about?
Yeah, so that's coming in April. Then there's probably another series coming in the summertime that is about top level chess. A show about your Garry Kasparov coming. There is we know of other shows, with different celebrities who are interested. So we know there's a lot. And then next year, we know that, it's already been announced that Ben Mazdrid is writing a book about chess. And the movie rights have been purchased by A24 and Emma Stone. And so, we think that this will snowball over the next 2 years. As a chess fan, it's going to be incredibly exciting content. So I myself am looking forward to it. Although I am actually pretty terrified about the upcoming Netflix episode in April because they got me and Danny sitting on a couch for 3 days, sharing all the secrets, and I'm actually pretty nervous about it. So we'll see what happens.
About that movie, I know that probably you can't divulge all the information, but still, what's your forecast about how it will be perceived by the public? Who will be like the bad guys, the good guys in this story? What do you think?
It's a good question. It's an interesting thing because I think most people think that they're the good guy in their mind. I don't know what to say other than, I've spoken with the author, Ben Mazdrid, a fair amount, shared my side of the story. And I know he's talked to a lot of people and continues to. And I'm actually just very interested to see what comes out as well in the book. I feel very at peace with how, things were handled throughout the chess scandal, as we call it, on my side. So I have no regrets there necessarily. I do wish that we had handled, and I've said this publicly, I do wish that we had handled the situation with Hans of uninviting him to the CCT, the chess.com championship. In a different way, and I had already told Danny my opinion. We disagreed there. It was his decision. He uninvited Hans. I would not have done that, but it was his decision to make. And that really ignited the whole thing. But I think it was done in an understandable way, even if in hindsight it wasn't. But anyway, there's a lot to unpack on that. We don't have to rehash the entire cheating scandal, but I'm excited to see what comes out in the media. I think people are continually interested in this story. And I don't think the full story has been told yet. I know I haven't told my full side of the story publicly yet. Danny hasn't either. Magnus hasn't spoken about it, but I know he has, and Hans also. So I think there's a lot more to come out of this. And I know a lot of people are tired of it. And if you're one of those people who's like, enough with the scandal, let's move on. I get it. That's fine. But there's also a lot of people who are quite curious about it behind the scenes and what happened. And so there's plenty of content coming.
Yeah, I personally am one of the people who is on the edge of their seats because, it will be fun to see both Magnus's and Hans's take on this story and chess.com's take on this story. So I will definitely be watching and probably recapping this Netflix content. You spoke about plans and about the future of chess. I'm always enthusiastic to speak about that. And I wanted to speak about the planning that you do at your company. So probably you have like plans for 1 year, But do you have plans like for 10 or 20 years in the company? Do you look that far ahead?
I'll answer that last part first, which is I don't look 10 years or 20 years ahead. Technology, consumer trends, everything changes so fast. I think it's a bit of a waste to look too far into the future. We're not a business or a technology company that's trying to invent the future. We're not, I think there are companies that need a 10-year view. If you're in clean energy, if you're in, artificial intelligence, if you're in certain areas, you have to take a very long view. But, we're a consumer-driven business that is, right now, what's happening, what are the current trends and tools, and you're kind of in a one-year cycle of what that looks like. So, will virtual reality be the big thing in 10 years? Maybe, maybe not, but we're not currently investing in virtual reality because the adoption curve isn't there and, we're not out doing that. And, so I would say we're more of a short term. We're looking 6 to 12 months ahead as to what we're working on. So, I spend my time. Our business is a little bit separated. You've kind of got the content and community and events side of the business. And that's Danny Wrench. He runs that. And we're partners. We talk every day because we work out together every day and we're friends, but he runs that side. And then I run the product, the operations, the other side of things. And so, my head is very much focused in what we're building, the technology, the fair play, the overall organizational strength, the, making sure we're, not spending more money than we're making, all the different elements that go into that. So that's where I spend my time. And I'm very excited about our roadmap. Which I'm happy to talk about a little bit if that's something that interests you.
Yeah, sure. I would love to speak about chess.com as a business, as a corporation that has all these fancy business things that are actually exciting if it's about chess. If it's about some boring corporation, I don't really care. But but about chess, a company that, well, you are one of the biggest players in the world of chess, if not the biggest. So of course, let's speak about your roadmap. What are you going to unleash? But before that, you mentioned virtual reality. Have you played chess in VR?
I haven't. I've done VR. I've done other games in VR. And my son is into it very much, but I have not played chess in VR, so I can't say I have.
So because I just recently tried, I'm going to upload a video of myself doing that, and I really liked that. And I thought, I wonder if chess.com is going to unleash some VR mode for the users, because that could be an interesting idea. So probably you've already considered it and said that it's too far a shot, but I liked the experience. Actually, it's close to like a real OTB game, and it feels wholesome.
I'm not opposed to it. But I just think the adoption of, consumer VR devices is not really there. And I think there's some worlds where, VR is very applicable. And I think there's some games that lend very much to it. Anyway, it may be my own personal bias, but I don't really think that's a high priority for our product team at this time.
Yeah, I get it. We've got have a lot on your plates.
Billions of phones. We've got billions of phones and browsers to focus on, not, tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of active VR devices.
Yeah, logical. So let's talk roadmap. What's in it?
There's many different areas. We call them work streams inside of our company. We've got so many different ones. We've got everything from, maybe my least favorite, which is like trust and safety, where, how do we handle abuse and, all the interactions and people trying to hack accounts and stuff. Very important, very frustrating drain on any company, I would say, is just having to spend time dealing with bad guys, people who are trying to break your system thing. So that's something that we have ongoing all the time. Closely related to that is fair play. And that's an area of huge investment for us. Obviously some people wish we would share more about what we do there. We try to talk as much as we can. Our team just did an AMA about this on Reddit. But that is a huge area of investment for us. Research, technology, analysts, tools, little tricks, little things, data. It's a really fun place that's very interesting. It comes together with, computer evaluations and moves and times and technologies and data sets and statisticians and probabilities and comparative data. It is really exciting. And I would say that we have made huge strides there. And a lot of our fair play is handled automatically. And then some is handled, more manually with kind of human review and different things. But, that team has grown a lot and we're investing a lot into our fair play. I'll also share, I don't know if this is totally breaking news. I don't think it is, but we have a new piece of software that in any of our money events, some people will be asked to play through a special piece of software on their computer, which, does cameras and does, more detection of things that are going on. So that's something that we've also been working on in fair play.
Well, I'd love to discuss more the topic of fair play because, obviously this is a hot topic. But please continue about the rest of the roadmap. Maybe we will go speak about cheating a little bit, anti-cheating a little bit later.
Let's do it. So another area is kind of in the content and community that includes, building out our events portal, which, not everybody, we have a lot of requests to improve it and our team is working on it, how we do our content and all of that. So that's another one of our, work streams. We're also soon launching, I don't know if I'm spoiling some stuff here, but I'm just going to share it anyway. We're launching courses on chess.com, which will be kind of a Chessable like content, but instead of being on Chessable, it will be also available on chess.com. That's something we're doing. In the play and gameplay area, I'm very pleased to announce that more than 50% of games are now played regionally instead of on one server. So if you're, two different players in Europe, they will play on a server in Europe rather than play, on one server in the, Western United States or something. And so our gameplay server is getting closer, more distributed, lower latency, more stability. And that's a huge future for us. And we hope that over the course of this next coming year, maybe 100% of games will now be in our modern, more distributed gameplay network.
So that
that's
makes
exciting for us.
The lags less annoying, right? Because everything is local.
It does. I mean, look, we don't, if you think about the connection of your computer to our data center, there's a lot, we don't control 98% of that, right? That's your ISP, it's your regional ISP, it's, Cloudflare and Google, and then it gets to our servers. We take a lot of blame for things outside of our control, but as we move these things closer to individual players, then yes, there's less opportunity for regional and other things to mess up the connection there. So we do, we're already seeing as we look at our metrics, we're already seeing, fewer disconnections, lower latency, et cetera. So we're very excited about this. So that's kind of in our gameplay area. We're making some of our products more fun, like puzzles. And again, not everybody loves the new puzzles with the kind of puzzle path and things. And you can turn it off if you don't like it. But we are working on making things more fun. A lot of chess players like bots and puzzles, and we're focused on making those really, really fun. That's how a lot of people get into the game. So that's an area. And then probably our biggest area of investment is on the learning side. A lot of people come to chess, they are fascinated by the world, they're fascinated by the game, but it's very intimidating to play people. It's very hard to learn and can be frustrating at times. So we have a lot of investment in there, in our game review product, which is obviously, many people enjoy, and you've seen plenty of memes about it. And we have a whole new initiative about Coach, which is kind of your own personal coach that will follow you in game review, playing versus coach, getting feedback from coach explaining puzzles, and coach making recommendations of what you should do today, and then maybe some different personalities of those coaches. Maybe Magnus Carlsen could be your coach. Maybe there's a very grumpy coach who loves to tease you and make fun of you. Maybe Mittens is your coach. So there's a lot of things in there. So those are a few of the areas that we're investing in. We're also redoing our Chess Kid product and many things. So there is so much going on in the chess product world, and I'm very fortunate to get to sit in on that and be a participant.
Well, it's great to see that you are very excited about all these things. I think that everybody can see that, which is good. It's always good to see an enthusiastic CEO. Quick question about the AI coaches. I've long wondered when the time will come when some LLM or I don't know some neural network will be a good chess coach, because already ChatGPT is maybe even sometimes surpassing humans in such areas as like translation or writing some texts, at least some technical texts, or sometimes even the like poems and stuff. At least it's like close to a decent human in these areas. But when I ask ChatGPT to comment something on chess, obviously it probably doesn't have enough like learning materials that it used, and it spews out some rubbish. So will your AI coach be close to a human coach in terms of capabilities? Maybe not now, but when do you think it may happen? Because this is really exciting. I don't think that there is anything that special about chess that you cannot do this even with current technologies.
Yeah. How do I explain that without giving away our own secret sauce there? So I, like you, am very interested in AI and LLMs and what they can do. And as you know, you give a checkmate in 2 puzzle to an LLM, and it can't find the right move and hallucinates and says crazy things. Our take is that something as concrete as chess needs more information in it. It needs more rules. It needs more governance on the LLMs. And so we have a very interesting development where our special engine that we use for explaining chess plus LLMs makes really cool stuff. And so I don't think LLMs on their own are ever going to, focus on chess. I don't think, it's in Sam Altman's, top 10 priorities to make sure chess is explained well. But it is in my top priority. So what we are developing in-house plus open, plus LLMs, I think is the future. I also think, though, where we're going to have a huge head start is in how we train and how we do things, but also in the future, your phone is going to have its own built-in LLM. Like the whole server latency and sending tokens and costs, it's just not cost effective. It's not time effective. So the person who's going to win, it's going to be us, is going to have the right technology already inside that is then augmented by an on-device LLM, whether it's in your browser, on your phone. And 80% of the work will be done with the proprietary, and 20% of the work will be done, the translation, the flavoring, and the assembly of the language will be done by the LLM. But 80% of the work will be done by our model and our engine. And those two things combined are going to be an AI coach in your pocket.
Well, sounds extremely excited. When will it happen?
It's already happening. Game Review is already partly like that, but the next versions of Game Review coming out in next year, and a new feature where you can kind of play versus coach, that is launching in Q1 next year sometime, and you'll start to see this unfold, and it'll just get better and better over time.
Cool. Okay, let's speak more about the plans of the company and the company itself. When I talk to my friends from the world of business, startups, finance, they ask questions about chess, and they are usually surprised that there is money in this area, that there are people and corporations that are thriving just by doing some chess-related stuff. And I always give them an example of chess.com. These guys have created an amazing product. They have already hundreds of millions users, but I don't have the specific numbers to give them. I would love to be able to say, for example, these guys are a unicorn valued over $1 billion, for example. I don't know, by the way. Are you a unicorn?
Yes, we are.
And is your valuation public?
No, but it's around there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. So it's you can say that it's over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nobody,
I hope
honestly, nobody really cares about that at our company. But it is true. I mean, just based on the numbers, it's true.
Yeah, because that will help me impress my non-chess friends. They will say, okay. That sounds cool. Okay, how many users do you have?
We are what does a user mean? How many people have ever registered an account on chess.com? We're going to get close to 200 million very soon. We're getting close to 200 million. After you take out, it's just not an interesting number in some ways because some people have more than one account or whatever. It's not that great of a number. I would say the numbers that I think are more interesting is that, we have maybe 5 to 10 million daily active users, depending on time of year and time of day and, and all the different things. So, it's a pretty sizable number of daily active users. And in a given month, it's closer to, 30 to 50 million monthly active users. Those are numbers you can use to impress your business friends.
Well, that's impressive. And number 2 in the area is Lichess. Am I right?
Yeah. Yep.
Are they far behind in terms of users?
I don't know. We have like our own internal report that kind of tracks market share based on active accounts and games played and stuff. And there's different data. You could kind of look at it in different ways. But yeah, I mean, you can look at it in many different ways. I don't want to say a number, but they're definitely a lot smaller than we are in terms of users. But it's also a great achievement given that they have a very different structure in how they operate on donations and open source. And I think it's very, very positive for the chess world to have them working also hard in their way to grow the chess community and serve the chess community. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think definitely having multiple options is better than not having them. But probably I like this quote by Netflix CEO. I think he said at one point that the main competitor for Netflix is not like some rival platform; it is sleep. Because this is like what takes away the viewers. So who's the main competitor for chess.com aside from sleep?
The main competitor for chess.com is the game of chess itself, which is losing a game. Losing a game of chess is the main competitor for chess.com. People don't like losing. People can sometimes quit the game because it can be frustrating. Chess is a game of very high highs and very low lows. And there are times where people just, fall out of love with chess. Maybe they got too frustrated. Maybe they're busy with other things. But, somebody who comes to chess.com and loses their first game is, 3 times more likely to quit and never come back. I mean, so that's the main competitor is chess itself and losing. So we think a lot about that. And that's one reason why our new product we're working on, Play versus Coach, is going to be there to help people on board who may not be ready to play against another person and lose. I mean, we see it. We can see it in our metrics. People come on, they're excited about chess, they sign up, they play a game, they lose, they play a game, they lose, they play a game, they lose, and they never come back. And so that's a sad thing for chess because it doesn't feel good. So we're trying to work on that, but we don't want to do it like creating fake bots that are pretending to be people and letting them win. I think that's very morally, questionable at best. So we're working on some great features to make chess more approachable, more fun, less pressure, less feels bad, more feels good.
Sounds great. Yeah, I can relate to those people who want to give up chess after losing a bunch of games. So yeah, of course. Also, I think I got this question from my subscribers, and I'm also interested. Do you consider the new Magnus app your competitor, TakeTakeTake? They have amassed quite an audience in a short time span.
The chess events and viewing space is an interesting one. And I don't think we have enough time to unpack all of that. Our view is that anything that brings fans to the game is very good for the game and is good for chess.com. Ultimately, we make money and we grow when people become subscribers to chess.com and use our service. we lose money on events. We lose a lot of money on events. So it's if there are new events coming out, like the freestyle or the Global Chess League from Tech Mahindra, or, if there's new apps like TakeTakeTake or whatever, if that makes more people care about chess and pay attention to chess and become chess fans, that's great. Ultimately, they need a place to play chess and learn chess, and that's what our platform is focused on. So people are like, oh no, Magnus is competing with chess.com. Hey, in the events and content space, we don't care. We don't care at all. Like, that's great. Now, obviously, if Magnus were to go into a chess playing area or an education stuff, then obviously we would now be competing against each other. But we're very cooperative. We're helping take. We're helping freestyle chess, and so this is all very positive in our view.
Okay, so it's a win-win for all. Cool. I wanted to speak more about the company. You said that you are expanding some resources, also hiring people. How many people are currently employed by chess.com?
We have over 600 people who work either as full-time employees or full-time contractors or, majority contractors. So it's quite large, way larger than I thought it would ever be. And yeah, I mean, I'm very proud that we have created a place where hundreds of chess fans and can make a living, right? And it's not just our team members, but it's also the money that gets spent out. I mean, we paid over $10 million back out to the community, right? Through Chessable and through commentary and through, streaming and affiliates and all the different things. So, the money comes in through the subscriptions and through the ad revenue to chess.com and through Chessable. And then it pays for hundreds of people to work in chess and make a living and to build features and tools. And then some of that money also goes back out to the community. And that's the pot that we're growing, because, the more money that comes into chess, the more investment that goes into chess, and then the larger chess becomes, which makes more money come in, which makes more investment happen, which goes out. So that in our view is a positive thing for the game. I think some people don't love that. They think chess should either be small or should be free or should be, whatever. And that's fine. I understand that. But in our view, to be able to grow the game and to employ people, which at the end of the day, people need money to pay rent and live. We think it's very positive that more money comes into the game. I mean, there's more chess professionals now just from playing or content creators than before. A lot of times it was only the top few chess players who made enough money to just focus on chess. Well, now there's a whole ecosystem of people who make enough money to just be professional chess, not just top players, but creators or, other things. And there's coaches are making more money and all sorts of things. So I view this as very positive, and I'm very proud that we get to employ people and create this ecosystem. And I think it's just going to get bigger.
It's a very big number. Not many people realize how many people work at chess.com. I've seen photos and videos from your retreat in Mexico, I think it was. And It was very, very impressive. So, by the way, another question that many people are interested in, especially probably Kramnik, who said, and you fact-checked him and said that it's not true, I think. He said that you fired like half of your anti-cheating team. How many people are there in the team, and is it growing or is it shrinking?
I don't know the exact number. I think we answered that in our AMA, and you can reach out to me for the exact numbers. But I mean, honestly, this is just straight up ridiculous. I mean, we live in a world where somebody can just say something confidently that is not based in reality whatsoever, and then many people will believe it, especially someone who is a former world champion. I mean, you would think that they would have some more accountability for the fact that they try to say. But I think we're all living in a world where people get to say whatever they want. And, I could say, Kramnik has lost more than half of his personal wealth in the last 12 months. That's not true. I just made it up. But if I said it with enough confidence, I'm sure some people will believe it. So, he said something that's totally not true. We've grown our fair play team. No one's getting fired from the team. We're investing more and more into it. But I don't know what his agenda is. I don't know if it's a financial agenda, a personal agenda. I don't really actually know why he's made this his mission, but, he's using his, propaganda playbook that he's developed over the years and has learned from wherever to, use misinformation, to use conspiracies, to plant ideas, to say things, but then say he's not saying them. Like, it's very much a playbook of how to undermine credibility. And, I think it's up to people to make their own judgment as to whose credibility has been undermined.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to believe that he is honestly trying to save the game, but yes, his methods are very questionable. You may have seen my podcast with him. It was a very, very strange experience debating with him. But still, cheating is indeed a problem in chess, and none of the actors in this area, none of the players would argue that this is a problem. So I wanted to speak about that because, of course, chess.com, being the largest platform for playing online, well, unwillingly home to some cheaters, and you have yourself said that unfortunately this is true. So I wanted to ask a very direct question. Do you think that it will be at all possible in future to combat cheating, to make sure that players are not thinking about whether their opponent is cheating or not? Do you think it is a fight that we can win at all? Or this is a hopeless fight and we will just have to live with the fact that some players will be cheating? Okay, some will be caught, but still there will be cheaters. So what's your opinion?
We live in a world where every day we acknowledge that there is crime, there is cheating, there is all of these different things. We don't live in a world where we can prevent people from doing bad things. But we have, in the real world, we have police force, which then try to catch people who commit crimes and then put people who are committing crimes into prison or rehabilitation or whatever to try to curb that. But, we all accept that when we walk out our front door that, we're entering a world where something could potentially happen. It's the same in chess. There's no way to prevent cheating entirely. But the better we get at catching it, the quicker we are, the more we punish people for it, the greater it is reduced over time. And I will say that we see it actually in our numbers, we see it slightly in decline at this time. We're getting faster at catching it. We're getting faster at preventing repeat abusers. So we're making huge strides there. And some people may see that in, maybe they're playing fewer cheaters, they're getting fewer rating refunds. It's because we're actually getting better and faster at it. But we can never prevent it from happening. Our view, which is also Ken Regan's view, Ken Regan does not work for chess.com whatsoever. He's an independent, statistician and chess fan. So our view and Ken Regan's view is that 1% to 2% of players or games in Title Tuesdays, for example, have cheating in them. And you can say, is 1% to 2% less than you would expect? Is it way more? Is it unacceptably high? Is it reasonable? It's up to you to decide that. But I think those numbers are fair and accurate. And now, I think there's some people who think it's 10 times that number, and I think they're not looking at facts. But the emotional feel of that can be real. If you feel like 20% of people are cheating in Title Tuesday, well, you're going to play and think and look for that every person might be cheating against you, and that's a psychological frustration. So I think that the paranoia, I think that the concern is valid and is positive. We should all be concerned about cheating. We should all be working against it. But I think when it reaches paranoia and you're looking at it through a lens which is not even based in facts, then I think it goes from productive and helpful, which is what concern or, is, to then being in paranoia, which is then counterproductive and leads to people accusing each other. It leads to people acting like it's always happening. It leads to negative feelings. So I think that there are many top players who I know personally who are like, hey, I think it happens a little bit. It's not a big deal. I'm not worried about it. Sure, maybe sometimes, but it's not that big and it gets caught over time and, it's not that big of a deal. Some then say, hey, I think maybe it's more than chess.com thinks, but it's a part of the game. It's a problem with the game, but it's reasonable. We should be worried about it. And then there's other people who are completely, in my view, living in a fantasy world that, a huge percentage of people are just cheating rampantly. And the data just doesn't back it up. The strength of play doesn't back it up. The results don't back it up. The technology doesn't back it up. So for those people, I feel bad that they're living with that pair of, set of glasses on, looking at the world through this, 30%, 50% of games entitled Tuesdays are cheating. I feel bad that there are people who think that. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with you that paranoia is very counterproductive. In addition to what you said, it also makes the paranoid person play worse against a person whom he or she deems to be a cheater. Yeah, so this makes it more likely that the person will lose this game and will say that, this guy is a cheater. I like asking the following question. My guests, when we speak about cheating, if we take a spectrum of 0 to 100, where 0 is a person who believes that there are no cheaters whatsoever, very naive and optimistic, and 100 is a person like Kramnik, who is very suspecting of everyone and saying that there are lots of cheaters, a huge amount. Where do you put yourself in?
I don't want to go 0 to 100 in terms of that, because I don't know how to gauge that. I will just say I believe that 1 to 2% of top title players will cheat in in any given titled Tuesday. There's 1%. And I think in casual play, depending on what pool you're in, there's some that are, if you're playing in the under, 1200s, you're going to face very few, because very obvious cheaters get caught out. Cheaters who cheat don't play in under 1200. There are some in some time controls and rating bands where it is higher, and we are focused on making that better and better. But I think cheating is in the low single digits across the platform. And so with whether that puts me in low single digits on your scale or not, I'm not sure. I do think about it a lot. I really, really, really detest cheating, and I'm very focused on stamping this out. But I think it's within our grasp to reduce the amount of cheating even further. And to make it so that people who come on the platform and desire to cheat, that they get caught really quickly and are shown the door and prevented from ever coming back. I also think that in the next couple of years, we will also introduce a different kind of play, where if people who want to only play with, very verified actual people, and not play anonymous players, that's something that's a goal and a dream for me in the coming years. And then I think, in that pool, it would be even reduced further, because you would be tied to a very specific identity.
Good. It's good to hear for many people who requested this. What about smart cheating? This is one topic that has always puzzled me. How can Regan or anyone say that there is 1 or 2% cheaters in Title Tuesday if it's not necessary for a 2700 plus rated player to cheat in any way that could be exposed, because you just have to look at the engine once per game and you will gain a significant advantage? How is it even possible to guess, to find out, to discover that this person looked at the engine once per game? Because they are smart, they are great chess players, and this one one time when they look at the engine, gives them like plus 100 rating points or plus 200 probably rating points. I've heard opinions like this from top players. So probably you've thought about this as well. What are your thoughts?
So there's a couple of different things. First of all, there's a lot of people think they're doing smart cheating when it's actually not that smart. I think people don't know how much we know about what's going on. So I can't say too much because I don't want to spill some of our secrets there. But a lot of smart cheating is not as smart as you think. That said, I mean, of course, you could very deliberately find ways to do a very small amount of cheating that would be very hard to detect. It is hard for people to have that level of discipline. If you look at it in one game, sometimes then you want to look at it 2 times in the next game, and then, oh, that was very helpful. Now I'll look at it 3 times. So I think there's a lot of slippery slope that people fall into, and then it gets easier and easier. But a couple of things I will say is we do a lot to work on this and to look at this. We have a secret cheater program where we have people who intentionally cheat and try to do smart cheating, and we try to see how well we can detect it. And we are good at this. It's sometimes often surprising for them that we caught them. And so I think we're better than people think. I think it's harder to smart cheat than people think. And then also we do things, especially when there's money on the line, we're moving more towards proctoring. We'll put people on cameras. If someone has a great performance, they will be asked to, get on camera, to have cameras behind them, cameras in front of them, capture screens. We'll do all those different things. We'll put proctors in people's rooms at times for events where we'll just, if it's, a high profile event, we'll send somebody to sit in the room with them and, make them take their shoes off and, do a little bit of a search and play. And so we're very committed to doing that. The other thing I would say is that the thing that is hardest for people to understand and is challenging is the concept of an overperformance, right? Mm-hmm. You, Greg, you're a chess player. Let's say you played in 100 chess tournaments. In one of those tournaments, you are going to have the best performance in terms of your strength of play, compared to a chess engine. You're going to have your best performance. And it's going to be like, wow, he really played so much better than his other performances. But that's because you play. I hope it is too. But when you play enough, you're going to have over performances. If you play 100 tournaments, you're going to have an outlier great tournament. You will. Now, a lot of them will be clumped in the middle. There'll be some real bad ones, and there's going to be some really good ones. Now, multiply that not just by hundreds of Titled Tuesdays per year, but by hundreds of players in hundreds of Titled Tuesdays per year. And you now have every week, somebody is playing the freaking best Titled Tuesday of their life because of the law of numbers and the law of performances. But then people will just take one game or one performance and say, see, this person's cheating, because they look at one thing and they don't look at at statistics. This is the hardest thing for human brains to understand, is like lightning strikes are not that rare because they happen all the time. If you look at one, what a coincidence. If you look at millions, it's not. It's expected to happen. And so I wish this is something we've tried to help educate people on, but educating people on statistics and, probabilities and, performances and over-performances and under-performances, it's very hard. We live in a very low attention span world where people want simple answers and simple things. But I wish we could help explain this concept, that the amount of chess, the amount of titled player chess happening today on chess.com in a given week is more than all the chess played if top players in a given year or decade 30 years ago. So you're seeing so many more games played where candidate masters beat grandmasters because there's so many more games happening, and it's gonna happen. So anyway, you can tell I'm passionate about this. You can tell I get frustrated about this, but it's a hard subject. And I have a lot of sympathy for people who feel frustrated and nervous and all that. And I wish I could just reassure people that we're doing the best we can. We think we're doing a great job. We're investing so we can do an even better job. But it's not like, oh my gosh, online chess is just, cheating and there's no more fair play online. It's not true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, your enthusiasm is contagious, I think. I actually liked the report that you put out about the percentage of upsets. I think people should check it out. I'll link it in the description because, for those of viewers who don't know, guys from chess.com have analyzed how often these upsets happen, like candidate masters defeating IMs or GMs, and how often they should happen statistically. And the results were normal. I was surprised.
Yeah, and you're going to see it. I mean, the World Rapid and Blitz is coming up in New York soon. You're going to see a lot of players from a lot of things, and you're going to see some upsets. And so you're either going to think they're cheating over the board, or you're going to see upsets happen in chess normally, not just online.
Yeah, well, we will see. And also, last question probably about cheating currently. I know that, you are working on your algorithms, you're trying to catch people, but sometimes you are not 100% sure. What is currently the benchmark? How sure should you be to ban a person? Is there a specific number, or do you have some other guidelines how to act in such situation? Because you said, I think in the interview, in the interview with Levitov, you discussed this, that there are people whom you suspect, but you cannot ban them because you're not 100% sure. How sure should you be?
I think it's a fair question. Let me ask you, how sure do you think we should be? If let's say there's thousands of titled players on chess.com, and if we then banned people when we were 95% 95% sure, but there's a 5% chance they're not cheating. Do you think it would be good for us to ban dozens of innocent players just so that we also banned, all cheating 100%?
I don't think that 95% should be enough. I think the number should be somewhere in between 99% and maybe 100, but not 100. Definitely not 100, because otherwise it would be unrealistic. Nobody would get banned. Statistics will tell you there is actually no such thing as 100% in the world of statistics. It just approaches closer and closer. But yeah, I mean, we share your same view. We want to be 99 to 99.5 to 99.9, somewhere in there, percent certain. Because I think for, as frustrating as it is for there to be cheating online, I think it's unfair and even further frustrating for somebody who's actually a very good player and has a really good performance for them to be unfairly, caught as cheating. I think that would be a cure that's worse than the disease in many ways. I mean, there were many people who wanted us when Ali Reza Firouzja was a young and upcoming player. There were many players who called for us to ban him because he seemed to be playing at a level that wasn't possible and upsetting them, etc. But, as proved out, he actually turned out to be a pretty good player. But if we had only been, hey, we're 99% or at 95%, this isn't over, we might have had a different outcome. So we feel it's a responsibility to do that. And especially now that we're closing accounts publicly for people who cheat in money events online, we have a huge responsibility to make sure that we are as certain as possible and as ready as possible to go to court to defend ourselves if it comes to that. By the way, do you get many lawsuits currently now that you started banning titled players publicly? I've seen some GMs get banned. So you said that some were threatening to sue. Did someone else sue? We always get threats. We have no current, but we get a lot of threats. I think once actual lawyers get involved and look at the agreements that people sign when they play in our events, and they look at the facts, I think that they all realize that it's going to be a long waste of time and money for them. So we don't really have any lawsuits that go further than that.
I will tell you right now, this is a bit of a spoiler. We have a pretty high profile closure coming up. So keep your heads up.
Okay, I will have to make a video on this probably, dissecting the games of this person. Okay, you've intrigued me. Is it a person who is like a GM?
Yes,
a strong GM.
It's a name. It's a name.
Okay. Very intrigued. Okay, let's talk about you as a chess player as well. I've heard that you play chess on a daily basis. Do you still have time for that?
I do. I play a lot of very low quality daily chess and bullet chess from time to time. So I wish I could spend more time playing. I love playing. My favorite is actually to play OTB Blitz. I really love like a 3-2 chess game over the board where I can just, my phone isn't on, I'm not distracted by work, and I can really get in. I just played in a tournament in October with our staff team, and I almost beat a FIDE master. I had him beat, but couldn't convert and flagged. But I'm a pretty decent chess player, honestly. But I don't really have time to focus on it, and that's okay. There'll be a time later on in my life where I hope to get to expert or maybe master level. But for now, I play a lot of bad daily chess and bullet.
Okay, so probably this is the time in your day that you'll play some chess if you agree to the tradition of this podcast to play at the end of the episode.
I'm happy to play with you. I hope I have a decent showing.
Well, I've heard you have a pretty high rating, so let's see. Which time control would suit you well?
It's whatever you want. You decide. But I'm going to play on my phone because it's what I always play on.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-2 is great.
Okay, let's go. I've sent you a challenge.
Oh, I already pre-moved. Don't worry.
You already pre-moved? Wow. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I also like playing like this in Blitz. Okay. Do you know the theory for this, or you playing?
I don't know any
using
theory,
your
man.
experience.
I don't study opening theory. I just
Yeah, but modern defense is fun. Or is it Pirk defense? Yeah, probably Pirk defense. Okay. You're really serious about wanting to destroy me. Okay.
Hey, you castled queenside, man, not me. So
okay. This is intense. Exciting position. Mm-hmm. The rook.
Made me do it.
Yeah, but your pawns are very scary. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just too late. It's too late.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess you found a very decent defense. Yeah. It's not that clear anymore. Okay, let's do this.
Yo,
Maybe it's
now
too
who's
crazy.
spicy? Now who is spicy?
Okay. And this. Probably I messed it up, but we will see. Okay. Yeah, very well.
Oh, I went the wrong way. I didn't see that my queen was covering.
This is madness.
Game.
Yeah,
Good
thank
game.
you. It was like
All right.
I think you had me at some point. I got too careless.
We'll figure it out. We got to do the game review, and then we'll.
Of course,
we'll
of course. I like this feature, by the way. Some people say that it's like not too accurate, but I really love it. Seeing like the strength that you played at, sometimes it makes my confidence like boost. But this game I didn't play at my at my best level, I think. But you played really well. Let's check.
I tried to propose problems for you. I think you had a great position, but I did have a good comeback, and almost I missed something there at the end. But
yeah. So at some point I'm right. Yeah, you had the winning position after rook d5. It was a stupid move. I just got too carried away. I should have just taken the pawn.
I thought,
queen c4.
I thought knight f6 was such a good move. I'm like, I forked him, but you, apparently just playing e6 here, and you were in big trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is Blitz Chess. Thank you very much for the game and for the conversation. Guys, if you want part 2 with Erik sometime later on, once they make some new crazy update, or if you want me to speak with him about his rap career in part 2, please drop a comment. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.